Hey.
Hey, what's up, party people? Welcome to another episode of the Changhoff podcast. That's AJ.
Hey, AJ.
I'm Jacob.
That's Jacob.
And this is the 1 year anniversary of the podcast. Give it a round of applause, everyone. We made it to 1 year of the podcast. This is so very exciting.
Yeah, 1 year ago, I called you and said, do you want to start a podcast? And you said, yeah. And then we talked a little bit, and then we were talking about, okay, what day of the week should we do it? And it looked like Monday was going to be a good day.
Yep.
And it was Monday. So that was the day. A year ago.
Yeah.
So we have a very special guest today. I'll go get them.
Go grab the guests. Yeah, so 1 year ago today, we decided to start the podcast with just a little conversation over the phone, and then here we are. Okay, special guest entering the screen. Let's go. Yappy birthday to you. Yappy birthday to you. Yappy birthday, dear Changhoff. Yappy birthday to you. All right, you want to light this thing? So cute. You want to blow it out? 3, 2.
Wait, let them sing.
Yay.
Woo.
Let's go.
It's a yapping duet today.
Yeah.
Hey, Jacob.
Yappy birthday to you, bud.
Yeah, yappy birthday. I did ask yesterday for questions
Mm-hmm.
from listeners, and we got some questions we can go through. But pretty much I want to go through some of these questions and then just generally reflect on the past year and just kind of think about where we were, where we're at, what we've learned.
Yeah. Let's do it.
So you want to go right into some questions?
Sure, let's do it. You know, sitting in this chair, I understand why people feel intimidated. The interview chair just has a different energy to it.
Interesting.
But here we are.
All right, first we've got Luna asks, what is the one thing you guys have noticed about each other?
What is the one thing that we've noticed about each other? Interesting. Thank you, Luna, for the question. Do you want to go first?
One thing I've noticed about you in the last year of doing the show, it's interesting because it's like kind of notice implies that like I started noticing it in the past year, so it
Yeah.
would be something kind of new. Do you have one?
I'm thinking.
I feel like I knew you decently well before. So what did I learn from the show? You know what I noticed about you? I noticed you're a really good interviewer. I didn't really know that before we started, like, cuz I knew you could video edit. I knew you had kind of like a creative tendency and a personality for this kind of thing. But I think early on you were very good at structuring a set of questions and also like steering the questions into a broader story by like segueing between them or kind of guiding the interviewee into a certain question. And I think when we started having guests, after a few guests, I realized like, oh, okay, Jacob is in the driver's seat. And I kind of enjoy that because I could step into a role as like kind of being like the color commentator of like having secondary questions or follow-up questions.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think you ran the ship well as far as running an interview.
Thank you, bud.
And I think you've improved. You took that natural ability and you've developed it. But
Sweet. Thank
Yeah.
you, bud.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. I feel like I have definitely gotten better as an interviewer and more comfortable, and I like doing this. And like I didn't really know that I kind of had that ability until we started doing it too.
Mhm.
Like I just never really interviewed people, but it's fun. I think it's really cool. But what have I noticed about you in the past year? I think what I've noticed in the past year, and this is maybe I don't know if this is noticed or like Anyway, what I've noticed this past year doing the podcast about you is that like when I think about Changhoff, I think like I kind of feel like the opposite of you, where it's like I'm playing the support role for you, because I'm like, AJ knows how to do the stuff. AJ knows how to do the stuff. Like I can put together the podcast and I can edit and I can like do the interview questions and stuff. But when it comes to the other projects that we're doing outside of just the podcast, like, you know, the music and the shows and the contacting people and stuff, like that's all you. So, and it's nice to just be able to like trust you that you got it, and watch you grow and do your thing and make the music and like work with the artist and book our shows and book the listening party and just like do all of that stuff. It's like, obviously I knew that you were good at it because we had already started doing it at this point, but yeah, when I think of Changhoff, I'm like, Hoff is the star. Like I'm just here to support whatever he's doing. So like building a little music studio so you can make music and all sorts of stuff, and we can have people do this thing. I'm like, AJ's the star. I like being behind the scenes. I like just doing what I can to make his life easier. And yeah, it's a fun role to play. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I do feel very supported.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, it's been long enough that we found what we like to do and what we feel good at, and we do those things.
Yeah.
So we both got our own our own departments.
Exactly. Yeah. I think what we've noticed about each other is just like the things that we're good at and the things that we want to do, and just like allowing each other to just like fully embrace that role without having to worry about the other person.
I think the thing you want to do too is like maybe more important than what you're good at, because if you want to do something, you do it every week and then you get good at it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's gotta come first. Like if I'm good at something but I don't like doing it, it's what do you like? It kind of wears on me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're finding our roles. Okay, cool.
That's a good question. Thank you, Luna.
Thanks, Luna. Okay, this is McKenna, I think.
Mm-hmm.
McKenna asks, how do you feel you've grown in this year as a pod and personally?
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I've definitely grown this year.
For sure.
I think this past year, this has been kind of like my first year in Tampa as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like left for college and like learned a lot and grew a lot through college experience of being in a new city and trying a lot of new things. But then being able to be in my hometown with like family and friends and roots, but then also having like all of the growth and experiences through, you know, my schooling and just adult life. I feel like I've learned a lot and I'm applying a lot of the things I've learned, but I also feel so just supported and so, I don't know, like integrated into a broader community.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where like everything I'm doing is because of the support of the people around me, or because like, yeah, I feel like I'm definitely growing and like, I don't know, I don't even know how to say it, but
growing and establishing roots and building a community and being part of something that's just bigger than us, bigger than Changhoff.
Yeah, and the balance of like pushing myself and challenging myself, but also like just accepting that little incremental progress week by week or month by month, or yeah, as a person, as a musician, as a friend, I feel like I'm learning to create and to love and to show up and to work hard and to be consistent, and to keep going.
Yeah. Did you think that your venture back to Florida after college would be as successful as it was? Were you expecting to like come back and like Tampa, or because I know we both went through a similar thing where like we left Tampa, you know, pretty much straight out of high school, and we spent a couple years living on our own in different places and then coming back. So I think we have very similar experiences, but I wanted to see, like, do you feel like when you came back, were you looking for like Tampa to be the place that you're going to be at for the next couple of years, or were you thinking it was going to be more of a transitionary thing where it's like you come back, maybe you stay for a year or two, but then you planned on like heading back out somewhere, back to Chicago, to New York, to LA, somewhere like that?
I definitely, if I had to guess, when I was coming back, I thought I would like hang out for a couple years and then leave and go to a city where I felt like there was more room to grow. But just early on, I had some like really, really great artistic experiences, creative experiences. Getting to play with What About Mama at Gasparilla Music Festival. That was a big early one of shout out WOM, shout out those guys.
Shout out WOM.
Just getting to play some really great music every week, like that really leveled up my bass, my ear. It was like the first time I went deep back into playing live music for a long time. It was for like 5 years. And then little things like from that, I started the SoCal stuff, and then we started the podcast. Started meeting a lot of people, and ended up really loving a lot of people and a lot of stuff going on. So feeling good. I feel like I have a lot more exploring to do, and I'm enjoying growing with the people around me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there'll be a time where I feel like I need to go somewhere else to experience the growth I need to, but right now I feel like there's a soil over here is feeling good.
Yeah. Came back
Anyway.
to put some water where my roots at.
What about you? How do you feel like you've grown this year?
How do you feel the pod has grown over the past year? Because I know it was a two-parter question. It was like, how do you feel like you felt?
Yeah.
How you've grown, and how do you feel how the pod has grown?
I mean, I think the biggest thing has been just finding out what it even is. You know?
Yeah.
Because like we recorded every week for a few months, kind of just showing up, pressing record, and talking about whatever.
Yeah. That's literally what happened.
Yeah.
We did exactly that.
And then people would ask about it, be like, "Oh yeah, like what's the theme or what?" And I'm like, "I don't know. We're just talking." Like, but if I learned anything from that, it's that don't wait until you have the idea. You know.
Yeah.
I think if you would like to do something like a podcast or something like release music or something like you just have to make the slot on your calendar every week or every 2 weeks.
Yeah, whatever works for you.
And just show up and be there. And then once you do have the idea, you already have the work ethic. You already have the time built into your schedule.
Yeah.
You know?
The routine.
Because if you're waiting for the idea, then when you have the idea, you might not have the time carved out. You might not. So I think you gotta create that surface in your life for
to just go for it.
For things to happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we're just finding a format that's cool. I'm sure we'll explore different formats.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know if it'll always be music. I don't know if it'll always be interviews. I don't know if it'll. But right now, I like what it is.
Yeah, me too.
So we'll keep doing this until it gets old, and then we'll do something else.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. Anything to add to that, or you want to tell your side of it, or?
I guess I'll add my side to it just because I feel like that'll also add to the entire conversation naturally. How do I feel like I've grown over the past year? I feel good about my growth, not only just as a person, but also as a creative. Especially feeling like being like more behind the scenes on the Changhoff pod. Like, you know, I show up in front of camera. I lead the discussion most of the times. I'm coming up with the questions and whatnot. But other than that, I like to just kind of I think that's part of what I've realized doing the podcast is how much I want to stay off of social media. And so it's been a very interesting, thought process for me, obviously being a, quote unquote, public figure and also wanting to not be a quote unquote public figure. And just realizing that I just really love to do this just for the love of doing it. And I don't really necessarily care so much about the social media numbers as per se. And also, and this is just talking about creatively and in perspective of the podcast, but in general, over the past year, I feel like I've just grown so much as a person for a lot of the same reasons as you said. It's I came back to Tampa more grown, more mature. I went out and I lived a life, and I like, started to begin my life as a proper adult. And coming back with all of those tools and experiences, like, I really felt like I could, like, actually do a proper clean start here in Tampa, which of course now it's been a few years, but over the past year for sure, it definitely has felt like a 100% fresh start, just like doing something that I really love to do, building a community of people who I really love and really want to support and who support us and me. And yeah, I don't know, just like best way for me to describe it is like it's been really hard for me to have bad days recently, because when I am having a bad day, I just have like this constant reminder going on in my head. I go like, how loved you are? Like, how many people like love and care for you and support you, like your friends, your family, like even my own self-support to myself has gone so much better in the past year. So like it's a nice problem to have where it's like I can't even really feel like I have a bad day nowadays, because like even on the worst, most shitty day, and I've had a bunch of those recently, like I'm like, but yeah, but it's not that bad. Like I get to see my friends tonight and go play mahjong, or I get to go see my family and hang out, and so that's been really cool. So that's personal. As far as the podcast, I definitely 100% agree with you. Like just even finding out what the podcast is concept-wise was a really nice breakthrough to have, because I feel like you said, we found a format that really works for us right now, a format that we have a lot of fun doing, and a format that we've been getting a lot of really, really good and positive feedback for, which is very nice, very validating. And then, of course, also, like I said, like I know AJ and I don't really care all about the numbers on the back end so much as we are like actually focused on being present and enjoying the process of like making a podcast and making music and throwing shows and whatnot. But the numbers behind the scene have been doing really good.
They're solid.
Yeah, they're solid. They're doing really good, which is also just really nice to see. And yeah, I'm really excited and happy that the show has been like growing and maturing, and just like the little pieces of good feedback and validation along the sides, where it's like, now we don't really have a problem getting guests anymore, and we don't really have a problem, making music, and it like, just like the little things that have just like started to come up, and like you telling me when you're out the other day, like people are saying, just like giving you a bunch of love on the podcast, like that's just so nice to hear.
Yeah, I think the numbers become so irrelevant when you have a conversation with another human being and they've listened to this hour-long thing and they have thoughts on it.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
100%.
The connections are way, 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 way more important than any number on a screen would be for me.
Yeah, I think that's a better feeling than like whatever number.
Agreed. Numbers are nice though.
There being like a dozen people that listen to a thing that's over an hour is like cool.
Oh yeah,
it's cool.
Oh yeah,
and it's like, but anyway.
All
right, we got a lot of questions, so I'll keep going.
Yeah. Let's go.
All right. Lil Jerry Shoddy 47, the one Nimbus asks, should physical media, so CDs, Blu-ray, DVDs, stay in stores?
Should physical media stay in stores? I have mixed feelings about this, because I do like physical media, CDs, DVDs, records. I have some. A lot of our friends are, big physical media people, record collectors, people who work at record stores, etc. And I really enjoy physical media. I think it's cool. I think it's novel. It's collectible. It like really lets you connect with music, which is really just like sound waves when you really think about it. So being able to like actually physically connect with it is really cool. But do I think that like we need a bunch of like do I think Target needs to sell DVDs? No. Like, get them on Amazon. And the only reason I'm saying that is because I work at a Target and we cleared out the DVD section. And I was like, why are we going to clear out the DVD section? Like, people buy, literally no one has bought a DVD. Well, they can't. But like, probably 2 people. This was months ago. Like 2 people have asked me, "Do you guys not sell DVDs anymore?" And I'm like, "No, sorry." And they're like, "Oh, okay, cool."
So nobody bought them, so they just clear them out.
So they just stopped carrying them. So do I think like regular stores like that need to like carry DVDs and CDs and stuff? No, but like going to a nice record store is really nice. So anyway, the question was, do I think that they should stop doing physical media at stores? The answer is no. I love physical media.
Yeah, I think there's so many things it can be. There's so many things that merch could be. I don't know. I remember listening to this one A&R person or some kind of music manager talking about how the music industry is so weird now that you have to get creative. And they had this idea about, I guess they were managing a jazz artist, and they told them to make a recipe for every song on the album and sell a cookbook. And I guess it worked. I guess it worked well, but
that's actually a pretty cool idea. I
like
that.
And then you can like listen to the album and like make a
recipe.
Make like a nice pasta dish. Listen to some jazz. But yeah. I mean, we make CDs of the songs we make for this show.
We do. This is an example of one of the.
I'm
CDs. Definitely pro physical media.
I mean, just for the, if you can sell a CD and get $5 of margin, $5 is, let's see, how many streams is that? A lot. A lot.
Yeah.
So I think it just giving people who want to support you a chance to support you and get something from it is really cool. And like, whether or not you actually put the CD in a CD player, that's another thing. But just giving somebody a token for their support.
Yeah, it's not even about that, because it's like, I think the coolest part of the CD is just like having the signatures from all of our friends who were like on the CD, and just like having this, like obviously it's right here, like no one's playing the CD, but having it is way more special than like knowing that I'm gonna play the CD. Just having it is special.
I think too, the physical aspect, but also the direct aspect of it. So like, even if something is digital, being able to have direct connection to supporters through something like an email list or something like a website, as opposed to, if I put out a song and somebody's listening on Spotify is taking a cut of everything, whatever, and then record labels have a lot of leverage over Spotify, and then Apple is taking a percentage of everything that comes through the App Store. So there's like all these people in between the person putting out their art and the person listening to that art or watching or whatever kind of medium. And obviously everybody in the middle is going to create systems that support their interests. So I think something like a mailing list or something like, you can go on Bandcamp and buy one of those CDs. I guess Bandcamp is in the middle, but they're cool. We like Bandcamp. And yeah, especially now, like so many social media companies are taking stances, and it's, these companies are all supporting their own interests. So whatever ways we can find to be directly connected to the people we care about and the people that care about us, I think the better off we'll be. I don't know if we need new social media, if we just need to get rid of it all. I don't know if we just need to start sending letters to each other.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
But yeah, any kind of direct communication and connection, I'm a fan of. Send me an email.
Send me an email. Send me a text. Shoot me a call.
All right, let's keep it going.
Yeah, good question.
Isaiah says, more Isaiah.
Facts.
Okay. Thank you.
Say less.
Jasmine asks, hey Jasmine, how has the pod impacted your friendship?
How has the pod impacted our friendship? Oh, this is a good question, actually. I've never actually thought about this. Has it affected our friendship?
I can go first because
Go ahead.
Okay.
I want to hear what you have to say.
I was thinking back to like where we were a year ago.
Uh-huh.
And we definitely weren't as close.
For sure.
Yeah,
we didn't see each other every week.
Yeah, we just
before we had a podcast.
Didn't see. Yeah, well, that's a big one. But yeah, I definitely feel like I know you better.
Mm-hmm.
We're definitely closer. Yeah. I actually think it's impacted a lot of my other friendships.
Interesting.
Just because.
Just like the communication skills.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and just like seeing. Yeah, it's just been nice to see people on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's not always a podcast. It's not always something so formalized, but like, there's just a nice thing of just seeing somebody consistently and like just seeing that rapport and that familiarity kind of grow over time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely makes you want to do like more projects with friends. Because there's a side of it that like, oh, you know, I want to separate work and fun, but like you can work hard on a thing consistently for fun.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I think it's a lot of fun to see something like this.
This is a perfect testament of that.
Yeah. So how has the pod impacted our friendship? It's definitely solidified it.
I'd say so.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have any thoughts on top of that?
I mean, definitely for sure. Like, obviously we were super close before we even started the podcast, but yeah, we definitely did get more close after the podcast, and especially like both of us doing the same thing kind of at the same time, you know, like leaving and coming back as adults, and just like not restarting our friendship, because obviously we're still friends the entire time, but you know, like breathing new life into the friendship. Just like now we see each other on a consistent basis. We work on a project that is really fulfilling to both of us, and we both like play our roles really well and trust each other with all of that. So definitely it has leveled up our friendship, which is like hard for me to even say because we were already like up there to begin with.
You know what too? It's like I think we've always been pretty good friends, but I definitely feel like we're more peers now. We're more like creative peers. Whereas like there have been times where we've been really close, but you know, I was also doing like music things, and that was kind of a separate group of people.
Yeah.
You know, because as much as you have love for music, you're not someone that like plays instruments or
correct
goes to that many shows or
correct.
So I definitely feel like we're more creative peers.
Yeah.
You know, which is something I think we've been at times and kind of wanted, but more so than ever, I feel like we're kind of doing the same. Where I'll be working with an artist, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, you think Jacob would edit the video?" Or like, "You think Jacob could do camera work?" Or or just to hear your thoughts on a song, you know.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
I agree. I definitely feel like more integrated with the music scene here, which is not necessarily where I thought I would be personally. Yeah. But it's been really cool and really gratifying, and yeah, I think that's a perfect way to put it, is that we are more like creative peers now, because we're kind of doing we're doing literally the same thing. Like, we're both working on this. Of course, you know, you have your little aspects that you do outside and then all of this stuff, but like for the most part, yeah, like I think that's definitely it. So long story short, I think the podcast has been great for our friendship and great for all of our other friendships outside of the podcast as well. And so I'm very happy about that.
So yeah, start a podcast with your friend. You might get closer than ever.
Exactly.
But if you get into a fight and you break up with your friend, it's not our fault.
Not our fault.
Maybe
that's your fault for being emotionally immature. Fuck out of here.
Just ended there. All right, we got a question from Outlandish the Poet.
Hey.
What does Changhoff as a brand look like in 5 years?
Shit. Changhoff as a brand in 5 years. Man, you asked the right person this question, because I'm Mr. Brand over here. Mr. Protect the Brand. How do I see Changhoff in 5 years? Honestly, that's a really good question, because obviously I have my own like goals and ambitions for Changhoff and stuff and this project. And, you know, AJ and I share similar goals for Changhoff as well. But I think there's two parts of this question to me, or this answer for me, which is that one part of it is I don't know. Like 5 years from now, I don't really know, because like over the past year, you know, we have like found a concept and a theme that works for us. But I also know that we are very flexible with this as well. And as much as we like doing this, the moment that we stop liking it, and we want to do something else, I know we will go ahead and do that. So will that come in the next 5 years? Probably. And what that next concept is, that next theme that we explore with Changhoff, or if it's even Changhoff at all, it might turn into something completely different. Trying to like guess that, I'm not exactly sure. But in terms of things where like I would be happy to do, things that would be fun, things that would be gratifying in the next few years to do with Changhoff, definitely like the most hopeful thing is getting to a point where like this brand, this podcast is, or and the music is like making enough money where like it can support the both of us, and so we can really do this full time and not really have to worry about like, you know, trying to get a job with healthcare, trying to get a job to pay the bills, but still trying to do this on the side. Like, obviously, I think every creative wants to make a living from their art, and we're no different than that. Conversation cards, mixtape releases, more podcasting is pretty much what I see for the next, we'll say 5 years just to answer the question, but for however long we feel like we want to do this, like, I'm really enjoying making music and making podcasts and doing the listening party, and then wanting to do like little fun projects like the conversation cards or like whatever little cool little merch ideas that we come up in the future. And I just want to keep on doing that, keep on doing this until we no longer want to.
Yeah. Yeah, I think continuing to do what we're doing, to just create a platform where we can showcase whatever kind of ideas or talent. Whatever. Like right now it's music. Maybe one day we'll have like a cooking show.
Yeah.
We can bring in guest chefs and they can share recipes. Maybe one day we could have, you know, different like community organizations come and talk about their mission, and definitely more events in the real world. The more that we're able to do that. But yeah, I mean, if I had to predict, I have no idea. If I had to hope, I would say that that we've grown, we've learned, that we're well connected to artists and community members around us and all over, and we can put people in positions where they can do what they do best, and, you know, be integrated into a larger community where they can connect with other people who do other things well, and everyone can kind of work together, grow together. I don't know, and I think the more well connected we can be, and the more knowledgeable we can be about who's around us and what everyone else wants to do, like, I think we realize our goals are maybe more aligned than we think. You know, it's crazy having like multiple guests kind of have the same exact goal of like, oh, I want to release music and tour and, you know, create an organization in my local community to give back. And it's like, oh, like, yeah, like, let's all, we all want that. Let's all pitch in.
Exactly. Like, we all want to do the exact same thing, different font. Come on.
But yeah, so some extent is just hoping and trusting in that. Some extent is learning the business and the realities of how to create value, how to monetize things, how to. I do have, like, I think the path of building a catalog of either YouTube content, recorded music, like, I think that's very high leverage, to where these things will go on and exist without us to necessarily actively maintain them. And we'll see. We're still learning, but I just hope to learn a lot and just share that knowledge, share that growth, put people in positions where they could do well.
Agreed.
We can all kind of grow together.
Yeah, that's the best part about it. We all get to grow together.
Together.
It's so fun, like, just knowing that, oh my God, look at all these people, all these talented individuals, all these talented creatives who come onto the show. The little running joke is like, someone on the podcast is gonna get interviewed by Nardwuar.
Oh yeah, it's gonna happen.
And they're gonna be like, so Changhoff, Tell us about them.
Yo, Nardwar, do you want to come on the show? Can we get Nardwar on?
Please, Nardwar, come onto the show.
Much to look forward to.
Oh, my goodness.
All right.
Great question.
K Lion asks, top 3 moments in interviews that resonated with you deeply.
Ooh.
That's kind of a hard one.
Ooh.
But let's see. What can we think of? What's a moment in an interview that hit for you?
A moment in an interview that hit for me. Oh, that's a good one. Let me think. One that is kind of multiple that we just mentioned recently was just like talking to a bunch of different artists and asking what like their future goals are, and then just like realizing that like we all have some sort of link between our goals, like make music, go on tour, give back to the community. I think that was really fun. Like seeing that thread between all these different artists from around here, which was really cool. I think this isn't like necessarily like a specific moment that I can recall, but obviously like you know, we do the interviews and then I go and I edit the interviews, and afterwards like seeing my progression as like an interviewer, like we kind of talked about at the top of this episode, has been really nice too, because I'll be editing and I'll be like, that was a really good question. That was a really good question. Wait a minute. I don't even remember asking that question. It was good. Because a lot of the times, like I remember at the beginning, especially going back and watching some of those earlier episodes, I'd be like, dang, that was a good question. And then immediately followed up with like, God, that was a terrible question.
You got to watch film. You got to learn.
Yeah. But nowadays, I feel like the, oh my goodness, that was such a terrible question comes way less and less and less. Let's see. I think this one is a funny one that just popped into my mind, which is when we were doing the Nimbus episode, and you just showed up and you like came through the door during the episode, and I don't know, just like watching that back made me laugh so hard, because it really did look like we were just like in a sitcom.
It was like Full House.
Yeah, it was like a sitcom about a podcast. And it's like you open the door and then like the laugh track goes, or the clap track. Ooh, AJ's here. Yeah. So those are good moments for me.
Dang.
How about you, bud? Go for it.
Moments. I feel like I think I'm not thinking of specific answers of things. It's more like themes that come up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I've heard a bunch of people talk about, you know, I'll ask something about the broader creative, like, oh, it's so clicky. People just want to work with the same people. But then I hear all kinds of different people say that, and it's like, okay, well, why is it clicky? And like, I think there's a natural, you know, we're kind of isolated to our own little bubbles.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I noticed, where a lot of people were saying that and not enjoying the clickiness. But I think, yeah, something like this where we could like introduce somebody to a different audience, and maybe they can find some new collaborators, or even just new people just to talk to.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be cool to have events that bring people from a lot of different realms. I think the next listening party will be cool because it's a lot of different artists that don't know each other.
For sure.
And they'll get to hear each other's stuff and meet. What else? I think there's a theme too of like a couple people who say something to the effect of like, I don't really do interviews, but this was a lot of fun. Or you know, I would have never done this, but like y'all got me to, or, you know, just
taking people outside of their comfort zone.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of people I'd love to have on, but I tend to just prioritize scheduling with people either who I already know or just like have kind of a growing connection with, just so it's just organic, you know, and it just gives us a chance to talk in a deeper way about some things.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah. So
Great question.
sorry, Kay, that's not really your question, but hopefully you like the answers.
My top 3: K Lion, K Lion, K Lion. Next question.
And honorable mention, K Lion.
Boom.
All right. Shaliak asks, how have you both changed personally and creatively since starting the podcast?
Ooh, how have we changed personally and creatively?
I think I've just gained so much confidence.
Yeah, can I answer yours?
Sure.
Can I answer what I think?
How have I changed? Yeah.
How have you changed? That was definitely going to be one of it. Like your confidence as like a musician, as a producer, definitely. Like you've told me, obviously, but I've also just like seen it personally with my own eyes. That you've just like gotten more confident, gotten more comfortable in the studio, working with artists and working with a bunch of different artists too. Artists that have been doing this for a decade, artists who have never made a song before, and all just like making everyone so comfortable and sound so good. And that's been really awesome to see. And then also just like on top of that, all the other things that you do for me and do for Changhoff, like booking all the guests and, you know, making sure the audio is good. And then also just like generally just like us working together in our working relationship and also our friendship as well has just been, really cool to see you grow into all of those positions. And I know it was kind of like vague, but I just mean like so it's in such a general but pointed way. Like you've just grown on so many aspects and so many directions that I feel like I can't really even pinpoint one exactly. It's like if the pie was this small before, now you've just like done such a good job of holistically growing the pie.
Yeah, that's the goal.
That you're just bigger in every direction. And yeah, it's good to see.
We love it. We love the big pie. One thing too, like a very tangible thing, is anytime I'm working on a recording, I just feel so like way more confident about every aspect of it, because like just by nature of doing this at least every week, sometimes 2 or 3 times a week, and we have to get live audio, we have to get live video. The video has to be edited. It has to be just kind of going through that full process of start to finish of an audio video project. Now, anytime I'm involved in an audio video project, I have kind of like a comfort and a confidence in like, okay, make sure this is recording, make sure that's synced, do this, do that.
Yep.
It doesn't feel as intimidating.
Yep.
Just getting the practice in, you know. Okay, so you answered for me and I answered for me, but should I answer for you?
Yeah, can you answer for me?
How have you changed personally and creatively since starting the podcast? I think you're executing. I feel like you've always been a big idea guy. You've been a big brainstormer.
Yep.
Always. But I think channeling that into execution and finishing, you know.
Yeah.
And I think I imagine you have like a similar boost in confidence of like, oh yeah, like I can make videos, you can make a movie, you can make a just working with cameras, working with editing, working with people, working with
audio. Yeah, it's like the whole experience.
Yeah, I think seeing you execute has been a change. And not that you didn't, but just a different ratio of like brainstorming to execution.
Yeah.
A lot of execution. I think also too, like you building out the space and kind of, I don't know, fostering a sense of creativity. I think that's a thing that's hard to pinpoint, but you're a good host, I think.
Thank you.
You're a good host to people making things. You know? And I don't even know if I think that's a lot of little skills that add up. But just being aware of the energy in the room, of how people are feeling, what people need, what makes people feel comfortable, when you can push, when you should back off. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I've seen that too. What else? Anything else I could think of? It's funny that we're answering for each. What about you? What do you notice about yourself?
Definitely the execution piece I feel like is the biggest for me, because like you said, I'm a big brainstormer, but definitely execution has been a weak point of mine for a big portion of my life. But I definitely feel a lot more comfortable knowing that, like, if I got a project to do, like, it's gonna get done, and knowing that I'm gonna execute and not really having to second guess, like, oh, am I gonna procrastinate this? Am I gonna just like completely give up on it because I'm like too overwhelmed or whatever? That's been great. Let's see, how else personally have I changed? Definitely way more confident, like, being in a room like this. Because like, obviously this is my house, so it's like I have a sense of comfort here, but like building out the space to like have a studio for the podcast and for music, and to like just bring different creative people in has been really nice. And I really have found that I enjoy hosting a lot. And it brings me a lot of joy in it, and it's always like so special to me when someone comes in and they're like, oh, I already feel so comfortable, or it's like, this place is like has such a creative energy, like I want to, like, it just makes me want to create, like something along the lines of that, just like makes me feel so happy. And I'm like, yes, thank you, this is exactly what I was trying to do with this space, was like exactly turn it into what you're saying. And so like, yeah, definitely hosting, just more confidence, like knowing that. And then the biggest part too is just like knowing that I have a community, and doing like these talking things once a week. I definitely feel like I'm just way better communicator in all aspects of my life. Like in a podcast, one-on-one, in a group setting, I feel like my communication skills have gone only up, and it's been nice.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, next question. Let's go for it.
All right,
let's keep going.
Tay the Don. Shout out Tay the Don. Asks, starting a pod, inspirations, goals for the future, artists you want to work with, favorite song.
Starting a pod.
We kind of did goals for the future.
Yep.
Maybe we could do. I don't really know starting
a pod. Just start.
Oh, like advice for starting a pod? You think that's
probably what it is? Starting a pod, just start.
Yeah, I think start doing it.
Just start.
You're gonna feel like you shouldn't yet, but you'll always feel that until you start it.
Yeah.
And like put it out before it's good.
Yeah. Like you don't have to worry about it being good, because it's not going to be, because it's your first podcast.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about what it's going to be about, because you're not going to know on the first podcast. Absolutely not. And like, be all right too, doing a podcast and being like, that wasn't very fun. Maybe give it a couple more tries. But if you continue to like make a podcast and it's just not very fun, maybe you shouldn't do a podcast.
Well, I would even say do it in a way that prioritizes your enjoyment of it.
Yeah.
Do it in a way that if you get all the way through and you realize your memory card's full, you won't be mad. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Like the conversation was so good, it's like, whatever, we still got to
do it in a way that the conversation itself, or whoever it is, if it's like the same people every time, enjoy the deepening of that friendship and like pick topics based on that. Or if it's guests, just like enjoy connecting with somebody new. But
yeah, if you don't find that fun, don't do a podcast. And I'm not saying don't do nothing, but like maybe the podcast isn't like the correct format for you or the correct medium for you. Maybe you like to do short films instead of doing a podcast or something like that. Anyway, regardless if you're starting a podcast or a YouTube channel or a music career or making art or whatever, right? Like just do it. And if you don't have that much fun, maybe you should be doing something else.
Yeah.
Okay, we're at an hour.
Oh yeah, so you were talking about starting a podcast. What did we say? Yeah, prioritize the enjoyment of it, because that's the only way you can do it for a long time. Correct. And I think good things happen when you do good work consistently.
Oh yeah.
What else do you say? Inspirations, goals for the future, artists you want to work with, favorite song. I'll say inspirations. Um, Inspirations. Definitely Kenny Beats the Cave
Yup.
was a big inspiration in the idea of just making songs on the spot. Um,
Casey Neistat is always going to be a big inspiration for Changhoff in general.
sure, less so now, I feel like.
Yeah, maybe
Definitely not drawing.
Yeah, definitely not the podcast or anything, but in terms of early inspirations to like what got Changhoff started in the first place, definitely Casey Neistat.
Recently, podcast-wise, been very much enjoying Emergency Intercom with Drew and Enya. Been
seen
very much enjoying Exploration Live. Been very much enjoying Sad Boys with Jarvis and Johnson. Which, I mean, all have their own energy, but share the thing in common of just like two people who are friends, like having fun talking about things. Yeah, I would say check out those if you're looking for a show. Also, there's a streamer called Ari. Their Twitch channel is Ari at Home, but they've been doing videos recently where they go out on the street with this. I'll send you a picture so you can show it for the people watching the video, but he's got this huge portable music production setup where it's I don't even know how to describe it, but it's this giant surface that is like attached to straps on his torso. So he's got like a laptop, a looping setup, a keyboard, drum pads, and he'll just walk down, like Midtown New York and find somebody and just hand them a mic and go like, okay, what kind of beat do you want? And they'll go, boom bap. And then he just like starts doing drums, puts it on a keyboard, they start freestyling, and he's just like within minutes the whole song is made.
I think I have seen this before.
Yeah.
I think maybe you sent me a video about it before.
Yeah, so shout out Ari. Which he's been doing this on Twitch for a long time, but I think that going out on the street thing is kind of new. But yeah, just seeing, and people will answer with a genre that he's not familiar with, and then just play him a little snippet, and he kind of does his best. But he's really talented at that, and that's somebody I draw from as far as just trying to have a broad understanding of music, and just the enjoyment of making something on the spot. Who else? Nardwar. We love Nardwar.
Love Nardwar. Another podcast inspo for me, funnily enough, is actually Emma Chamberlain.
Okay.
She does interview podcasts every now and then, but for the most part, her podcast is just her solo. And I don't know what it is about Emma Chamberlain, but that girl can talk by herself in a way that it literally makes it feel like you are also in the room, like talking, like we're having a conversation. I don't know. She's just so talented at like holding a two-way conversation with one person.
Interesting.
With only herself. But somehow it feels like I'm on a two-way street with her. Like we're banter. Like it just feels good. I don't know what it is. Emma Chamberlain, I love you.
I just feel like we're friends.
Yeah, for real though. Like I really do feel like I just like know Emma Chamberlain. Emma Chamberlain, you're so talented. You're so awesome. Please come onto the podcast. That would be amazing.
I wonder if people have parasocial relationships with us. I don't know.
Maybe.
All
right, what else was on that list? Future guests and stuff like that.
Who else am I inspired? Oh, Sean Evans.
Yeah, Sean Evans is a good one.
As far as just like good interviewers.
Yeah.
I don't know. A lot of people. We kind of talked about goals. Artists you want to work with? I feel like I'm not gonna say any because
Doechii.
Yeah, we'll get Doechii on one day.
I want Doechii on the podcast. That's the only person I'll say I really, really, really want to get Doechii.
I don't know.
On the
I'm enjoying like guests coming naturally through conversations and meeting people. So honestly, wherever that goes, I like the warm outreach.
For sure.
So
it's nice.
Favorite song?
My favorite song of all time is "I'm in Love" by Jennifer Lara.
Yeah, that's true. You definitely have an answer.
Where is it? Here it is. I got it on record. Studio One presents Jennifer Lara. "I'm in Love," track 6, side 1. That's my
Okay, he's got proof too.
That's my favorite song of all time.
I don't think I have a favorite. I recently listened to "Never Catch Me" by Flying Lotus and Kendrick Lamar, and I like that song a lot. There's too many.
Wait, okay, I have a question for you. That one, it's not going to be your favorite song, but what is the very first song that you have saved on Spotify?
Oh, interesting. Like in my liked songs?
Yeah, because I know what mine is.
Really?
Yeah. It's Do I Want to Know by Arctic Monkeys. It's the first song I ever saved on Spotify.
Mine is Beth/Rest from Bon Iver, self-titled. But it's also that whole album. That whole album is...
That's fair, though.
Yeah, it's that album. And then we got Hit 'Em by Migos. And then it's a few Hudson Mohawk songs.
Okay, so what is the last song?
Oh, like the most recent?
Yeah, what is the most recent song? Okay, so that's the first one, the Bon Iver song. What's your most recent saved song?
My most recent is Tore Me Up by Johnny Champagne, Kingsley III, and Sally B. That just came up on my radio, and I liked it.
Mine is a song called Super Good by a band called Fie. I don't know. My sister put me onto the song.
Okay.
It's really good. Super Good. It's spelled SUPERGUD by a band called Fie, I think. Spelled FIEH.
What you gotta go and break me for? What do you even take me for? Don't play me like I'm a fool. Don't play me like I'm a fool. Why you gotta be?
Woo!
We're going to get copyright strike.
No, it's okay. That's Kingsley. Don't copyright us, Kingsley.
Don't copyright us, Kingsley, please.
All
right.
Okay. Thanks, Tay.
Next question.
Cletus asks, what's up, Cletus?
What up?
Cletus asks, favorite episode?
Ooh. Favorite episode.
I really like when I was staying with my family at the beach.
Yes, that one is so good.
And we went and did an episode in the ocean.
Yes, that one is
I thought that was really fun.
That one is so good.
Yeah, like just the idea and the fact that we actually did it.
Yeah. And the fact that too, like, that was a good, like, content-wise, that was a good episode.
My phone did get water damaged though. So.
Hey, but it was worth
I don't know if I'd recommend, but
it was worth it though. It was worth it.
That was a fun one.
That was a fun one. I think another episode that comes to mind that was really, really good. It's hard for me to say because a lot of our episodes, especially this season, are with other people. And it's like hard for me to pick one person's episode other than others. But I will say, in terms of like an episode where the day was like really, really good was when we interviewed Leah. The interview was really good with Leah. But then also, you know, like we spent like pretty much the whole day working on that song. Because it was like one of the very first ones. And we made Changing. And Changing is like one of my favorite songs that we've ever made. So no disrespect to anyone else.
I think that was that the first song we made with a guest?
It might have been.
I think before that it was just...
It might have been, yeah.
So.
No, you're so right. But yeah, so that was a really, really, really fun day. And also I just love Leah.
Yeah.
Love Leah. Leah, I love you.
Love you, Leah. That was a fun day too.
Yeah, that was a fun day.
That might be the longest we ever spend working on a podcast song.
For sure.
Because I don't have as much patience for it nowadays. I mean, I still could, but
the whole thing is
get
it done quick. Get it done quick.
That was fun. I think we did the interview first too. I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting, like, because we did the tier list after season 1. I feel like now if we did a tier list, it would just be basically ranking the guests.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
I don't want to do that.
I don't know.
And then an all S tier list is
not
fun to watch either.
But yeah, we had a lot of good ones.
A lot of good ones. Hard to pick your favorite. It's like
What's
picking your favorite child.
Let us know.
Put it down in the comments. What is your favorite episode?
Send me an email. All right, this is the last one I got here. Is Asia? Hey Asia Iman.
Hey Asia Iman
asks, what are your goals for year 2 of the podcast?
Ooh, year 2.
So we talked about what it's going to be in 5 years potentially. But what about this year? What's next? What's the next year?
Oh my goodness. Okay, wow. Okay, so today is February 17th, 2025.
So next year when we sit down with a cake with a 2 on it, what are we going to be talking about?
Talking about it. I think this year, in terms of overview of the year, we plan to release at least 2 or 3 more mixtapes. which in turn will also be maybe a total of 2 podcast seasons, but probably 2 or 3 mixtapes will come out in those 2 season time. So definitely another season of Changhoff podcast for sure. More mixtapes, more shows, listening party. That's really what I see for year 2. Just doing more of what we're doing, better than what we're doing it now, and just, continuing down the path that we are beating.
Yeah. Keep beating the path.
Keep beating
the path. Yeah, probably like another 50 episodes in the next year.
Yeah,
if I had to guess.
Yeah, for sure.
So maybe that's like 3 mixtape / seasons, all with listening parties. I feel like the listening parties will probably get bigger over time, but not necessarily. Like, I think that's not something. I think it's more just being consistent and just continuing to do them. There'll probably be ups and downs.
Yeah.
Just off seasonally,
but as long as we're having fun and we're doing things that we like to do, I'm happy. I'm content.
But yeah, I think doing more of what we're doing now. I think eventually finding formats or events where we can bring more people together and connect them.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a valuable thing we can offer, is like creating a space, whether it be a session here or an event out somewhere, where lots of people can meet each other and find new connections, deepen existing connections, and maybe find some collaborators, find some ideas, find some inspo. What else? Yeah, I think just continuing.
Yeah.
Continuing.
For sure, just continuing.
Building a platform, building a reputation. Like, I think just being known for doing good work. And yeah, I don't know. I don't see us being that different next year. I don't know. Maybe it'll be a whole different show.
Maybe, I don't know. But why change the recipe?
Yeah, we'll find out.
Well, I definitely think if I'm looking at year 2, it's hard to say because it feels like a boring answer, but it's like just doing more of what we're doing. But really, for me, I'm like really been trying to be more intentional about getting better. Which I know it's like I have gotten better just by repetition.
Yeah.
But now I feel like I want to be more intentional and more focused about like getting better in certain aspects, like just like on purpose. Like, making my editing workflow a little bit easier, maybe adding a couple of more new techniques to it to like kind of level up the look or the feel of the show, stuff like that. That's kind of like where I'm at in terms of what I feel like we're going to do for season 2, or at least what my portion is going to be of season 2.
Of season?
Or I mean, of year 2.
Year 2, yeah, year 2.
My bad, year 2.
Whatever. I feel like we'll probably ditch seasons at some point. It's just going to get confusing. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But I think as far as what is our goal for year 2, what do we want to push ourselves to do? I think there's going to be times where it's hard to keep going. And I think that's going to be the test, is just the endurance of being consistent for another year. And balancing everything else going on.
Yeah.
I will say a tangible thing. YouTube has certain barriers of once you hit certain metrics, they allow new types of monetization. So getting the sub numbers and the watch time numbers that allow us to monetize, that would be cool. That would be awesome. But also finding other ways that we can monetize through creating real value, through events or through some kind of merch or Changhoff conversation cards. Maybe we'll make some T-shirts. I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to go like just runs a million ads and then make it unenjoyable to watch. But maybe find some sponsors. I don't know. Yeah, some sponsors would be cool. Sponsors would be cool. We'll see. I think if we do good work and we're making something that's actually valuable, I think monetization that stuff will come. That comes. But yeah, thanks Asia for the question. That's all the questions I got. I got one question. Oh, okay. I got a question from Nick. Okay. Right. He said, how do you guys deal with the uncertainty of the future and the fear of not knowing?
Is there something that you think about? Is this something that you're concerned about? And how do you feel like you deal with it? The uncertainty of the unknown of the podcast.
I mean, that's a life thing too. Like that's just kind of a.
Oh yeah, it is quite existential, isn't it?
Because the future is uncertain.
Indeed, it is. But in terms of the show and the brand, I think for me, I don't really have a lot of uncertainty about what we're doing here, because I know just based off of, conversations that we have and the feeling that I have personally with the show and all of our projects and stuff is that, like, I'm committed to doing this at least for the next few years. And so at least that part kind of clears out that uncertainty for me, like not knowing, like, what am I going to really be doing? Because at least I know I'm going to be doing this. And at least recently, I've been feeling very hopeful, very excited. Just I have like this gut feeling that we're like very much on the precipice of what this is. And not saying that we're going to like blow up or go viral this year or anything like that, but in terms of seriousness, I think it's about to get serious.
I think it's about to get real.
I think it's about to get real. Of course, everyone hopes that they blow up. And do I think that we're going to go viral or anything? No. But do I think that we're really going to blow up this year? I have a gut feeling that we will. And things are going to get kind of serious. But that's just, hope. That's just hopium. That's not based off of hopium. That's not based off of anything concrete or tangible. That's just how I feel. So the uncertainty of that kind of scares me. Like the potential of it getting way bigger than I ever expected to be, and not knowing how am I going to personally deal with that is kind of scary for me. But at the end of the day, that's like a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Like that's a good fear to have, is be like, what if it gets too big? Oh my goodness. What if I am so over my head? I'll figure it out. But that's pretty much in terms of the show, in terms of like Changhoff as a brand. That's where my uncertainty lies. It's not very much so much uncertain. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this for the next couple of years, because I know I will. I really enjoy doing this, and I would like to continue doing it for the next few years. The uncertainty of like, if it goes somewhere, or even if it doesn't, that too is also a possibility of that uncertainty. Like if it blows up, or if it just completely tanks and we stay at 139 subscribers for the rest of time. You know what I mean? And it's like not even about the numbers, but I digress.
It's funny. I've never felt that. Like you kind of just unlocked that for me. I was like, wait a second. What if? Hold on.
Wait a minute. I just unlocked a fear.
I feel like the content of the show is niche enough that, like, I don't know. Are there that many people that, like, I do see it growing. Like, literally, I see the metrics growing.
Yeah, like actually.
But I don't know if it's gonna like.
Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know. That's the feeling I have, is that it's gonna get serious.
I think though,
quick.
like, regardless of, like, let's say all of a sudden YouTube just really loves the show and just starts
feeding us.
Just starts feeding it.
Yeah.
Just starts giving it to everybody. Like, it doesn't really change what we're doing.
That is correct.
Like, we're still gonna sit on this couch and talk to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like if we were a venue and it's like, oh shit, we gotta up the capacity, we gotta buy more plates, we gotta get more chairs. Like, no, we still
more food.
We still. Yeah, I'm like, oh, one day we're gonna have 3 guests and we need more microphones. But like, other than that,
yeah.
Dang, that's interesting though. Okay, as far as how to deal with fear of uncertainty, I think something has come up a few times today. It came up when you were talking about you feel like it's harder for you to have a bad day now, because you spend consistent time with people who care about you.
Yeah.
And you put work in consistently, so all you have to do is just look at all of the evidence you've accumulated of,
Precisely.
that you have a good life and you're loved. Or same thing of like you're talking about confidence in your ability to accomplish projects is like you've done it at least once a week for a while.
Yeah.
So now
For a year.
when you start to have a slumpy day or you start to doubt yourself, you can look back on all this evidence you have. Or like I feel that making songs now, where like if I get scared that, you know, and don't get me wrong, sometimes I make doo-doo. But when I make doo-doo, I can be like, okay, hold on. Well, I've made all of these songs that I like not that long ago, so surely I will be able to make something else that I like.
Wait, you didn't forget how to make a good
Yeah,
sounding song.
but,
it just didn't turn out that way.
I think that can help with the fear. That can help with the fear is to just do the things you want to be doing, be with the people you want to be with, on some basis, with some consistency, so that you start to feel that evidence of like, oh, okay, this is my life. This is who I am.
Yeah.
And it might always be that same, you know, your relationships change, your work changes, things happen, but whatever kind of routine you can find that grounds yourself in feelings of stability, not certainty, but some kind of stability, I think that can help.
Absolutely. Yeah, stacking the evidence to the point where you can't even doubt anymore has been really important.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I can't even doubt myself anymore. It's like, look at all this shit you've done.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Take a look.
He's guilty of doing good work, this guy.
Oh, my goodness. This guy, too.
Convict him.
Arrest me, officer.
Innocent until proven guilty. Well, he's guilty.
I'm
Guilty of putting in that work.
Boom.
Guilty of having that dog in him.
I'm a guilty grinder.
Guilty of the grind. But yeah, that's all the questions we got. What else? Do you have any thoughts on the year behind us or the year ahead of us?
For the year behind us, I think 2024 was one of the most exciting and most fulfilling and fun and loving years of my life, especially as an adult. And I'm really excited about 2025 and the year ahead of us because I already feel like in these last month and a half of 2025, I've already experienced so much love and joy and happiness that I felt like I experienced throughout the entire year of last year. And so just want to do more of that. And of course, you know, we all have our bad days and we all have shit that happens. But like I said, it's hard for me to have a bad day when I can take a look around at my life and see all this cool projects that I'm working on, all these fulfilling and loving and supportive relationships that I've built, and just also see the progression of myself as a person. And as long as I continue to do that, I'm happy.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I think back to like recording in my backyard on a outdoor patio furniture setup under a tent, so that my laptop doesn't overheat, and like where we're just talking and like nobody is listening at that point, but like we're just talking about whatever. I think I'm trying to connect to that feeling.
Yeah.
You know. Or just like episodes we've had where like we're just not talking about anything important. It's just us yapping. So I think I'm trying to stay connected to that feeling, especially because like we're gonna have different guests, we're gonna have different events, we're gonna have different things that happen, but staying grounded in the comfort that comes from just casual conversation. I think that's something I'm holding on to. And as far as stuff going forward, I do like too that we can be open about the process. You I think there's like convention that you have to hold stuff, or that you can't leak, or that you gotta save up for a big reveal, or set a release date 5 months in advance and do a promo campaign. But I do kind of like that we can just talk about our ideas as we have them. And if somebody else in the audience is more ready to execute that idea and they take that idea and go for it, that's awesome.
Yeah. Go for it.
To an extent, I mean, you gotta respect privacy. You gotta respect certain things, but yeah, I like that we can document the journey and be open about it. Oh, you know what I saw recently? I saw, are you familiar with the book The Artist's Way?
I think so.
So that's where I know about it, mostly through Morning Pages. That's where Morning Pages comes from, where you write like 3 longhand pages every day in the morning. But I guess apparently Doechii at some point did like the whole 12 weeks of The Artist's Way and made YouTube videos.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that, but I thought that was really interesting, just to be open and document that process.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're definitely documenting our process. I even think it would be cool to do like maybe The Artist's Way, maybe some other program, but just do kind of like an open program where a bunch of people can do it together in like let's say a Discord channel or something, or like a group chat, and just kind of have a cohort to go through something like that.
Go through the journey together.
And then one day we'll make our own Changhoff Creative Camp. I don't know.
The Changhoff Creative Carnival.
Carnival. Yeah, it could be like a week-long retreat or something.
I mean, shit, we got some we got some tiny homes being built in Ecuador right now. Fuck, bro.
I don't know. That's far.
Exactly. Anyway, yo, so when you were talking about like trying to reconnect to the feeling of us doing the podcast in your backyard.
Yep.
It just reminds me of that voice memo that I sent you the other day, where I was just like bawling my eyes out. Because for whatever reason, I don't know, I was just here one day and it just like everything hit me at one time, just how far we've come. I like just got out of the shower and I was looking at this space and I was like, man, look at how far we've come. Like just a year ago, we were recording this in AJ's backyard in the middle of summer for no reason. And now we have like a whole entire studio space and we're on our 2nd season, on our 2nd mixtape. On our 3rd, oh my God.
We're almost done with the 3rd.
Oh my God, You're so right. Almost done with the 3rd season, almost done with our 2nd mixtape, and just like it all hit me and I was just bawling, crying, just like, wow, bro, like we made it. We're doing it. And especially that was really hard isn't the word, but I'll use it. It was really hard on me because like a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, like I didn't even know what the hell I was going to do with my life. I just like felt lost. And now I feel like I have some sense of direction. Like, do I want this to work out? I do. Like, do I want it to be like where I'm podcasting or like making content or making music for like my genuine career? Of course. But even if it doesn't happen, I'm really happy with what we're doing anyway, and being able to like, and just know that I can go back and look at all these documented conversations that we've had and be like, that was cool. I'm really happy for it. And yeah, we made it a long way. I love you, brother.
Love you, brother.
1 year of the pod, almost 10 years of Changhoff, and damn.
Yeah.
Damn, we really did it.
Imagine 10 years of the podcast.
Oh my goodness,
that's
gonna be sick.
Oh, where will we be? Where will we be?
I don't know. And in 10 years we're gonna be 20 or 35.
35.
Oh
yeah.
Wow.
That's sick. I'm looking forward to that.
That's a number.
All right, I don't got that much more to say.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. We can wrap it up right there.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
For everybody who tuned in.
Everyone, we really appreciate you. Yeah, this is the Changhoff Pod. That's AJ.
I'm AJ. That's Jacob.
I'm Jacob. I love what I do, and I love being able to say that. Thank you guys so much for supporting the podcast for a whole year now. I hope that you guys continue to support the podcast for years to come, and we can support you, and we can support the local artists and all the cool people that we bring onto this show. It's been really gratifying. March 28th, listening party at Bananas Records in St. Petersburg, Florida. Be there or be square.
Message one of us for details. I'll send you stuff.
Yup.
But yeah, thanks for everybody who tunes in. Check out some of the older stuff. We got a lot of episodes out with some cool people.
Yeah, we do.
Check out the Mixtape Volume 1. Maybe Volume 2 is out by the time you're listening to this. Changhoff.com.
Changhoff on everything.
That's all we got.
Peace. Bow, 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 bow.